Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating evolution of residential networking, specifically focusing on how it leveraged existing telephone lines. It's a story of innovation, limitations, and ultimately, the rise of other technologies. Let's get started.
I'm eager to hear this. So we're talking about using phone lines for internet, right? That seems unusual, given today's Wi-Fi and fiber optics.
Precisely. It's a journey through time, starting with PhoneNet in the mid-'80s. Remember, Ethernet wasn't the ubiquitous standard back then. Every vendor had its own solution. Apple, for instance, initially went with AppleNet, based on XNS, but quickly abandoned it for IBM's Token Ring, which never really took off due to cost and delays. That's where PhoneNet steps in.
So PhoneNet was a workaround for Apple's networking woes? What made it so special?
It was brilliant in its simplicity. AppleTalk, while sophisticated in its zero-configuration approach, used proprietary cables. The hobbyist cleverly adapted it to use existing telephone wiring, creating a cheaper alternative. It was a huge success, especially among Mac users, but it had a major drawback. It couldn't coexist with voice calls, needing a dedicated line.
I see. So a single-line household was out of luck? That's a significant limitation. What came next?
Exactly. The 90s saw the rise of IP over Ethernet, shifting focus to new physical media. But residential wiring posed a challenge. Unlike commercial buildings, homes had parallel wired telephone jacks, creating reflection problems. Enter TUT systems and their pulse position modulation, PPM solution. This was a game changer.
PPM? How did that solve the reflection issue?
PPM encoded data using the spacing between pulses, allowing reflections to dissipate between transmissions, even at higher byte rates. This became Home PNA 1.0, capable of 1 megabit per second. Later, Home PNA 2.0 used QAM, boosting speeds to 10 megabits per second and allowing coexistence with voice calls and early ADSL. It was a really clever solution.
So Home PNA was a significant improvement. But why didn't it become the standard?
That's a great question. While marketed for single-family homes, TUT envisioned Home PNA primarily for multifamily dwellings, leveraging the common wiring closet setup. This led to the unusual concept of Home PNA hubs, essentially independent networks for each apartment unit. But Wi-Fi was on the rise, and it ultimately overshadowed Home PNA.
Ah, the relentless march of Wi-Fi. What followed Home PNA?
G.hn. It's a more sophisticated standard, supporting various media, telephone, coaxial, power line, and even fiber. It's used extensively, though its name isn't exactly catchy. It was heavily influenced by the needs of the set-top box industry, particularly for multi-room DVR systems. It's a fascinating story of technology adapting to market demands.
So G.hn unified various home communication devices? What about other competitors?
Yes, and we also have Maca, similar to G.hn but adopted by different companies. And then there's HomePlug, primarily for power line networking, which is still around, though its organization ceased operations in 2016. It's a bit of a fragmented landscape.
So in the end, which technology won out?
Well, it's not a clear winner. G.hn, Mocha, and HomePlug all coexist, often integrated into ISP equipment. But the consumer market largely favors HomePlug for its ease of use, despite its occasional unreliability. However, Wi-Fi's speed and reliability often make these wired solutions less appealing.
Interesting. So despite all this innovation, Wi-Fi ultimately reigns supreme? It's a bit ironic, considering the initial struggles with networking.
Absolutely. It's a testament to Wi-Fi's continuous improvement and the convenience it offers. While these older technologies persist in embedded systems and some ISP setups, their consumer relevance is waning. It's a compelling narrative of technological evolutions. But there's still potential for G.hn over fiber optics, which could be a game changer. We'll have to wait and see.
That's a fascinating point to end on. Thanks for this insightful journey through the history of residential networking.
You're very welcome. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.